What up, guys? Ethan Tree. Thanks for chiming in. This is update number 4, team and contributor payouts. Before I get into this, I kind of wanna maybe, you know, I don't think I've been giving it my all to kind of what we're doing at Send, and there's only one reason why. I think in crypto, it's really hard as a builder to not get caught up in the trading side of things. And because there's many different parts to crypto, right? It's like you're building a project, you launch a token, you're sure you want to make money off that. You're in some trading chats. These guys are making trades. You see all this money flying around. You're searching the socials. People are talking about this, talking about that, ticker this. So let me explain a story that happened to me. So this past couple days, I think it was over the weekend, I was on Warpcast and I seen this ticker going around, right? So of course, greed got a hold of me, and I'm like, I'm gonna fucking run this shit, right? So you know they had the party down, it launched, right? And this goes back to the multi-sigs, and that's why I made the initiative to label the multi-sigs on the publicly on the Etherscan even further, right? Because it was send, colon Treasury, send colon exchange wallets, and now you can see, multi-sig 4 out of 7 is on there. And it was kind of because this ticker that launched. So for those of you that don't know, ticker launched. I think they raised, they raised over $3 million through Party DAO. I think it was 877 ETH. And they immediately put that Ethereum onto, Uniswap. The launch was pretty much flawless, right? Now, if you were watching, you've seen on Warpcast on the ticker, they said, I think something like 65% is going to go, or something like 75% is going to go to LP or to people that contributed 0.1. And actually, we can probably find it, right? So if we look up Warpcast, we can look right here, and let's look ticker. So if we look up ticker, and we can see if we scroll down, what they said they were going to do. Now what happened was, okay, so here it is. Okay, so 71% of the supply gets distributed simultaneously, including participation, claims, and airdrop boost after the LP is set up. 24% goes in LP. Now when this happened, I was watching the contract address. I was watching from where the 877 ETH was going. So it was jumping around, and I was following that, right? Like in real time, right? 28 minutes, 1 minute ago, right? So I'm following this LP where it's going, because I know ultimately where it ends up is going to be where the contract address is. And I was going to plug that contract address, which I did, into Alfred, the Alfred trading bot, and I was going to snipe immediately when it was listed, right? So I got the contract address when it was there, but then I noticed, they had 1 billion tokens. Then I noticed that they sent 150 million out, and the 150 million was 15% of the supply. This didn't line up with what they were talking about. Okay, 71%, 24%, and that's the best thing. The greatest thing about crypto and blockchain is it's a public ledger. You can follow the money. That's the number one benefit of crypto. Follow the money, right? Not privacy. Privacy is not the number one, and I don't really even care about privacy. I don't think too many people do. I mean, people post their kids on social media, right? Every day, right? So people don't care about privacy, but people do care about money. So you follow the money, and I thought there was something a little bit off about that. Okay, so again, greed got a hold of me. I'm like, fuck this. I'm APing, right? So I set up a snipe. I think it was 0.5. I sniped half an Ethereum, and we were off to the races. Not only did I put in 0.5 ETH, I bought 1 ETH a minute in, another ETH a minute in. So I had, I was 5 minutes into this, I was a top fucking 10 holder, okay, on this ticker, right? And a lot of top heads had quote tweeted this ticker. I think Jesse Pollock tweeted based carbon. Was talking, said something based, right? So, I'm like fucking in this shit, right? But, the thing is when that 15% went out, there was no multi-sig. And I should have known that, right? But instead, again, greed got a hold of me. So my point of saying this is, and then we know what happened. If you guys know what happened, the 150 million was market sold and dumped the chart. And after then, you lost credibility, and it was fucking out the window, right? You were just done. The token was just done, right? So I think I ended up making out with about 20% of my stack. But the reason why I'm saying this is kind of, I feel like I've let the community down, the Send community down, because this thing, it didn't consume me, but for 2 days I was focused on this fucking ticker launch, right? And here I am, I'm the founder of Send. Obviously, you guys know I'm the top holder, and we'll get into my holdings in a little bit. I think, has been paid out to me from the actual, core team payouts and also contributor payouts. I think I've been paid, 300 million. And I've bought, 700 million of these tokens. I put in, $70,000 to $100,000 into this Send token, my own token. And that's where my focus should lie, right? I'm over here, but that's the degeneracy of crypto. And that's how it works. As we get so caught up in, the trading chats and see people making money. And even for me, I get caught up in that, right? So I want to make a promise to the Send community. From here on out, I'm not going to be trading anymore. I'm not going to focus on trading. There's only 3 tokens I'm going to hold. It's going to be USDC, Ethereum, and Send token. And I think I owe it to you to kind of go fully into this and to stop paying attention. And I told myself this 3 months ago. I'm done trading. I'm not going to do it. But you start browsing the socials. You're like, what's that? And then you start going down rabbit holes, right? So again, I'm fucking done with this shit, right? Because there's ultimately, it's a net negative, right, for me to continue to focus on trading and look for a 10x off of 10K when I could just focus on Send, right? Which is what I should be doing anyway, right? But again, we get wrapped up in this shit, and everybody likes to gamble, or a lot of people do. I certainly do, but I think from here on out, I'm kind of done with this. And before we get into the video, I want to kind of talk about what's been going on too. Is a good leeway into this. Is we've seen this has kind of been going around, right? So the real ticker is Sendit. So this Gami guy, right? And we're gonna have to understand too, is Send is a fucking primo domain, right? It's a primo. We have the Send.it. We own Sendit, Send app, trademarks. People are gonna be coming and they want a piece of that, right? Whether it's Sendit, Send app. I think there's a Send app in Nigeria that's been out for a long time. So people love the Send name, right? And that's fine, right? But we have to be wary of kind of where we put our money. And let me show you what this guy Gami does. Okay, so if we go into this guy Gami, so he launched this Sendit, and this was done on Party DAO as well, right? And you can see, okay, so he's a full SAC dev. I guess this is kind of because his member, right? And he has 2 meme coins. This guy has launched 2 meme coins in the past month and a half. Okay, so we go into this member, and we see it right here. Member go up, I guess, in reference to, to the dick, right? So sloppy pencil, whatever, MG, kind of a low effort, in my opinion. This isn't, there's nothing novel about this. It's kind of trashy, in my opinion, right? It's not funny at all, right? And then if we look at the chart, you can see it's starting to get some action today because of the Sendit that launched, because it's corresponding. So you got to see. So this guy has launched 2 tokens now in the past 6 weeks, and I love the meme culture. I get it. I bought Dogecoin in 2014. I bought a million Dogecoin for $1,000 in 2014. That's actually stuck on a computer because I fucked up with the private key. So I get the meme culture. Slurf. I get it, right? Memes have a place in crypto. But where I think what happens is when you get these L1 or these chain founders that start saying, we're all about the memes, and start giving too much attention to the memes instead of just letting the memes be, to let the memes do the memes, I think that's where we're kind of getting off track, right? In my opinion, right? Unless, you get to a Shiba point. I mean, even Shiba fucked up their L2, release. So I think memes have a place. But when guys start launching meme tokens every month, dump that shit to zero. Especially of course they know we exist. There's only one true Send. If you look at the Send chart for them, You can see kind of where it's at. This 4.5 million volume, the liquidity is not locked. I'm sure that's a lot of fees that they're getting today. I mean, probably $80,000 to $100,000 in fees, right, just today. But again, you got to wonder about the intention of some of these people, right? Again, if they've launched 2 meme tokens in the past month, again, not a fan. Run this shit to zero. Anyway, ticker, fucking, I only have myself to blame, but here we are, crypto, right? So let's get into our our update, right? So let's talk about. I want to talk about on this one. I want to talk about team and contributor payouts, and this is mostly, because our token has increased, I think 500% in the past month, and team and contributor payouts, we can't be paying out what we were paying out before, right? We need to continue to keep an eye on these, because if we're putting 400 million tokens from the contributor payouts into circulation, at today's prices, that's $200,000 in sell pressure. So we don't want to do that. So let's talk about this a little bit, right? So let's get into our weekly updates, right? So Big Boss up here up top. Okay, so he finalized base migration by updating contracts and backend. He prepared the CL for production deployments from new code base, and he continued on ERC20 token paymaster with more testing. If I dropped in the chat about our paymaster. We're about 50% of the way done with that, and I've been talking in the videos about that's a way for us to get revenue. It's funny because a lot of these tokens are going out and they're like, yeah, we're going to sponsor fees. Users can send tokens and not have to pay fees, and we're like, we're going to charge 5 cents on top. I don't think users care about. I think the amount is negligible. It doesn't matter. They don't care if it's 1 cent or if it's 5 cents. It doesn't matter to them. So that 5 cents is for us a way for it to generate revenue. So again, we're about 50% way done with our paymasters. Leo, he worked on the account screens again, edit profile, personal information support, refactor the responsive layout structure, worked on updating www.send.it. So he did that. Victor, he did the brand new distribution rewards page, which which is going to be out probably in the next few days or so. Paginated distributions to improve UX when navigating between distributions. Distribution state is tied to the URL, so users can link directly to a distribution page. Added new colors and tweaked font sizes to align with the brand. Added a subheader element to the top nav component. Lots of cleanup and small tweaks. Changed site favicon to match the Sendit site. Ritesh has been working on some designs so far. So swap modules for USDC to ETH, ETH to USDC, USDC to Send, Send to USDC. Add funds function from the balances page using connect wallet mode. Okay. Reference Dymo. Shout out to Dymo for their open source code. We love Dymo. Dymo's building an amazing product. Creating a list of observation on currently implemented project. Partially working on light mode of the designs done so far, and then done all screens neatly arranged in their own respective sections so they are easily to find. So this next update that we have coming out, it's in the next few days, probably near the weekend. On Friday we're going to meet, or probably on Thursday, and see where we're pretty much dialed in. It's a very simple site, okay? There's no, you can see, and I'll kind of show you without showing too much. So you can see, right, obviously I should drop that in the chat, and you can see I'm going to show you the distribution stream. But, testing it on your phone, let's see if this pops up. Let's close it, and let's see if it pops up. So let me go into it. So, okay, here we are. Okay, so that's kind of the home screen, and that's all I'm going to show of that. But this as far as is real simple, right? It's mostly your account, and then it's also distributions and send tags. That's the code that we want to shepherd our users into our product. And the first of that is them buying the minimum amount of send, and the second part is the send tag registrations, right? Holding those, and then again we want to shepherd them through our ecosystem and our product, and this is the way to do that. So that should look for that. That should be out in the next few days, okay? And or 3, 4, 5, 6 days, who knows? But we want it to be great because again, this market cap that we're at, and I don't like to talk about price, but before, when we were at 1 to 2 million market cap, our IP is worth more than that. We've said that before, right? Sendit, Sendapp, our trademarks are worth more than that. The brand is worth more than that. But now that we're at this certain market cap, we can't be putting out trash products. So anything that we put live, it needs to be, we have attention to detail, and this takes time. So I think after this first iteration, after we get this out, we'll be able to push out a little bit more, a lot faster. So I'm looking forward to that as well. But, we need to live up to what our price is and our market cap. We can't, this isn't a meme token, right? We're building real products here. All right, here we go again. Treasury, okay, for the week of, it's from 314 to 314. This is from, let's go back to, what are these? We go back here. This is from 3/7 to 3/13. Okay, because the next video is going to be from 3/14 to 3/20, which is probably going to come in a few days after we do that release on the updated send tags and distributions. So Treasury. So this is today actually though, 3/20. Obviously there's a little price increase, so you can see the Treasury's gone up. Unclaimed fees are our bread and butter, right? And also send tag registrations. You can see half that is about 19,000. And then we have about 5,000 in send tags reservations or in send tag registrations. So, we're gonna have to push really hard on that, right? So these send tag registrations and the minimum buy-in, that's obviously we found something there, right? If we have these unclaimed fees that we can continue to sweep every month, and these send tag registrations, that's money in the bank for us. You're looking at $25,000 in the past, I would say, 2 weeks. I think our burn is again about $45,000 a month. So we're kind of almost at break even, which is good to see. So I want to talk about, this video is obviously about, team and contributor payouts. So let's talk about that. I didn't really want to show anybody because I wasn't going to ask them if they want their name shown and their address. They probably do not, but I'm okay with sharing it. So you can see, here's me, and this is kind of who we've paid out over the, so last year, a dev 23,000, someone 2,400, operations, another dev 1,500. He wasn't around that long. Operations 500, memetics, some guy that was helping us with memes, 1,300. Myself 19,000 last year. Dev, designer, and another dev 38,000, 37,000, and 10,000. So you can see last year we've paid out 134,000, and this year going into it, pretty much we've been working solid with about 5 guys, and this year thus far we've paid out about 73,000. So total payments from last year and this year, about 8 months, 7 months, we're looking at 208,000. And then you can kind of see the monthly breakdown here, how it kind of works out too. We can go to February because that's the most recent, I would say, full month. So you can see 6,000, 6,000, 6,000, 7,000, 6,000, right? Now you see we have 3 devs on the team, a designer and myself. These are not, you don't pay devs like, like some of the ones that we have, you don't pay them $84,000 a year. That's just not realistic how that works. Of course they're incentivized because we give them, or not we don't give them, but they're paid out, send payouts from the team wallet. So they are incentivized to kind of get that, and that's, that could be another 7, if we're paying out 10 million, that's another 7 grand or 6 grand at, at kind of today's price. So they are incentivized to do that, especially if they hold and it does the 10x. But there's some risk involved in that, obviously. But ideally to hire and retain the best talent, we want to be paying them $200,000 a year, $250,000 a year. I mean, at least, right? Especially if you're here in the United States. So we need to continue to bring in revenue and bring in money so that we can retain the best talent. Going on, so this is more, let me see if I can zoom in here. So let's go fill screen. Okay, so this is core team payouts for send, right? So you can see I've been paid out 182 million Send since we've started from the core team wallet. I've also been paid out from the contributor wallet, and the reason for that is, the whole round of doing the contribution round and bringing people on to into the community, or not into, but people contributing to the round, is kind of done on my part, right? So so the token team, I promised the token team 1% of all Send, right? So the token team was responsible for doing all of the contracts for Send, which, as you know, if you were there, it was a pretty flawless launch. There was no snipers, nobody got a lot of the supply. If you look on base scan and you see, and I've said this before, if you go on base scan, let's see, base scan is taking time to load. What's wrong with base? There it is. So if you look on here, you can see this supply is really good, right here. So myself up here, number one holder, and then you have everybody. But if anytime you get a top 50 holders list and this number is around 0.1%, you have fairly good distribution. If this number is around 0.3 or 0.4, the distribution is not good enough, because as the price rises, you're going to have a lot of these people start to dump, and that's not good for price, especially if you have low liquidity, right? So if these tokens here are not going to get put into circulation as fast as people think. I mean, the 23%, 24% of the 100 billion supply, so 24 billion that's currently in circulation, that's not going to move up as fast as people think. I mean, we don't have any exchange listings on tap, but if we do, that would be, a positive signal. So price would probably reflect that and go up. Treasury, our treasury is pretty good. Like I said, we're going to bag probably another 30 to 35 to 40,000, probably hopefully 40,000 in ETH and Send tags on the 7th of April. So that's going to bring our treasury up to another 120. So I don't see, again, I said this before, we had sold close to 300 million and picked up 75,000 for that. And that brought us above 120,000 to continue to build for 3 months. I don't see us selling from the treasury anytime soon. Rewards, that's not going to come into circulation till when the app's out. We're talking till late this year, right? And even when the app is out, rewards are going to still take time to fine tune and figure out the math to make sure that we're not causing any inflation that's harmful to the tokenomics, right, and to the price. Team, we'll talk about that. Contributors, distributions, as you know, is probably the biggest cause of the inflation for us. But if that goes to the right people, I'm even thinking of maybe having smaller accounts get a little bit larger of a percentage. I've said that the more you hold, the more Send you get. But I think we want to encourage smaller accounts to also get distributions. So if they have 100,000 Send and they get a drop for 50% of it, let's say 150,000 or 50,000, and all of a sudden their holdings have increased from, let's say, $60-$70 to now 110. They're going to look at that in a positive light, right? As opposed to if we were to give, let's say, this $367 million Send holder, if we were to give them 180 million Send, that wouldn't make sense, right? Obviously. So again, it's based on percentages. So, or we're thinking about doing it like that. So going back to this, so I've paid out, so you can look, June, July, August, you can see, 20 million, 20 million, 20 million. And then the other team members, how much they're getting, right? And then this is the token team again. They're getting 1 billion Send over 20 months. Now one guy's getting 400 million Send, and two other guys are getting 150 million, right? Or not 100, but 300 million. So 400, 300, 300. You're looking at $1 billion, and they've been paid out 10 months so far, or 9 months. And April is going to be the 10th payout, which I've already put in here. That's why it's calculating it already. But so that's how I think about things now. This one of these guys also works on the dev as one of our lead devs. I mean, I could just say it as Big Boss, right? So he's also part of the token generation team, and that's kind of, if you look right here, why I was also paying myself out from the contributor, because so him and I are the biggest contributors, I think, to the project, and him and I have kind of been paid out almost exactly the same as far as Send tokens. I think I've been paid out like 300 million Send, and the other 700 or over 700 million Send that I bought, I was market buying all of last year. Well, yeah. So you can see here, so again, we kind of go into the core team a little bit. October, November, December, January, February, March. So again, 182 million, 20 million, 20 million, 20 million, and a few others, 20 million, 20 million, right? And then 20 million for February, but what's happening is the price is increasing, so those payouts are not going to be as much, and we're going to do the same thing on the contributor side, right? Because we have to be watching the inflation, right? And then you can see the payouts for the token team. So to date, we've paid out to the core team 668 million send, and this is also so 668 million plus the 500 million to the token team, right? So to the core team, 668, and then 500 million. And again, we're going to continue to keep an eye on this, because if you're looking at this, we want to incentivize team members that come along in 4 years or 5 years and still have some send available to give them some equity into the project, right? We don't want to just go through that, because we're thinking long term here, right? So let's go to this. So by far, you can see. Let's see where we at. This is the last slide. Let's go right here. So you can see, if we can go here. So 228 million send has been paid out in June. Of last year, and the price of send was 3 zeros and a 1, and that was around $23,000, right? So you can see here, kind of going through it, our contributors, right? Our top contributor right now is Wolfgang, right? The value add that we've had from them has been tremendous, right? So this is what those contributor payouts are for, exactly for people like that. Sure, we have our lower contributors where a lot of these people in here, if you see them at 40 million, 50 million, these are influencers. So when we first started, I paid 10 influencers, 5 million send a month, and that was for 10 months. I think we're on month 8, so that's going to be another 2 months of that, and then they're going to be done. And I don't think I'm going to do that again, but I think that worked for when we were starting, because they were kind of asked, well, what do you want from me? What do you want me to do? Do I have to post a certain amount of times? And it was like, no, I don't want anything from you. Just watch the project, show your belief in us, and talk about us on the socials whenever we have some information out. So those guys are doing great for us, and I'm happy that I did that. And obviously they've been paid pretty well considering what the price is. And a lot of those guys, or not a lot of them, but some of them have sold. So 5 million there, 5 million here. Not most of those guys are holding, but and they're gonna hold a lot longer, they said, right? So this is kind of how I think about distribution. You see a few people got 10 million, right? And again, this is like early days, November, December, right? So, and then you can go through the months here, right? And you can see even a lot of wallets, total send paid 3 million, right? 3 million. And then, and then you can see the months that they were getting it, right? So this person got 3 million in August, and then just hasn't been around, right? So I'm always looking at contributors who can contribute, who can add value. A lot of the stuff, like for instance, I think his name's Rect. What is his name? Rect Bender. So he got us on the bank recently, and which got us on Rabby, right? So that's due some contributor payout, right? So we're looking for anything, any way that you want to contribute, whether it's design, memetics, getting us listed on another site, whether hosting an AMA, whatever it is, we're going to pay out for it, because it brings further visibility to our project. And again, how do you build a good community? Is you be a good community member, right? And that's what those contributor payouts are for. So let's look at these through the months, right? And we can kind of see, because as the price gets more, we're going to be cutting down on those, right? So 228 million, like I said, from June. So the month that it's paid out, so we pay out on the 7th. So when we pay out, let's say for April 7th, on April 7th, that's going to be for March, right? So this 228 million was paid out on July 7th, right? And then July 7th, 156 was paid out on August 7th. So you can see, July 7th, 156 million, and then the price 15,000, right? Cumulative, right? And then August 156, 19, 78, 6,000, 150, 11,000, 11 November 25,000, December 38,000, January 22,000. And then here's the big one, right? This is kind of where we got to start watching it. And this is why, this information is really, really valuable that Boo has put together for us. If the price does a 10x from right here, we can't be paying out 148 million, send. That's going to be $870,000 of sell pressure, right? So we're always watching the contributors, right? So this 105 million, if you think about it, 30 million of that is going to Wolfgang for the next 3 months. They'll probably continue to contribute because they're so good and they really believe in Send, and they're going to bring some valuable partnerships to us. So that 30 million is for, I think, for the next 5 months, because they're due another 150 million. And then maybe it goes to, like, who knows what the price is. Maybe it's at 20 million a month or 15 million a month, right? Who knows what we'll negotiate, and who knows what the price will be. But this 100 million, and then also influencers are going to be dropping off in the next 3 months, right? So this 105 million, out of that, you think 80 million is going to Wolfgang, and then the 10 influencers, which could drop off. So this is going to drop considerably, right? So that's not going to bring any more inflation. But we don't necessarily want to not be paying that out. We want to be paying it out because that's what it's there for, but we want to be getting our money in return, right? We don't want to just be giving that to anybody. It was kind of like that at the beginning, because the price is kind of where it's at. But now, again, that we're getting a little bit more serious and we're getting a little bit more in the trenches as far as the product is concerned, we're going to have to start looking at partnerships and sponsorships and seeing who we're actually going to give those to, because we want to get that value in return. And you can see, all in all, as far as dollar amount, we've paid out 2 billion Send, and that equates to a dollar amount of about 250,000, which I think is pretty good, right? So hopefully this gives you guys some more insight into kind of how I think about core team payouts, and also token team or not core team, but core team and contributor payouts. But again, going back to this, and I had some notes. Let me check my notes right here. These tokens here, they're not going to get put into circulation as fast as people think, right? So what I wanted to say is, and I'll go over this. I'll go over this in the next video. A funny thing in my notes right here. The liquidity is not locked, and they're not selling, right? What does that tell you, right? People were talking about liquidity is locked. Liquidity is not locked and people are not selling. So what does that tell you? I guess people are okay with it, right? Because if you weren't okay with it, then you just sell because the liquidity is there. When we release this new distribution in Sendtac site, we need to go hard on these referrals, okay? Referrals and Sendtac, referrals, so getting in on the socials. And it doesn't have to be, everybody can write up their own thing. Hey, check out. But it's important, again, how do you build a good community, right? How do you build a good project? You be a good community member. How do you build a good team? You be a good team member, right? So we're going to be after pushing the referrals, and we're pushing the distributions, right? Which is the 100,000 Send, right? Which 100,000 Send right now is $60, right? And it fluctuates between 45, 60, 65. It's going to go up to 70, 75, 85, 95, right? Even if it does, let's say, a 3x from here, you're still looking at $180 to get into distributions. And these are going to play more of a, they're going to play a bigger role for us, as you see right here, which is what Big Boss was talking about, which I shared in the chat, in rewards, right? So much of the Send app, I like what he says right there, the Send app economy, right? So much of what we're doing, we're building literally a new economy here, right? So we're very meticulous about how we do these things, right? This is not rocket science. It's not complicated. People have doing, the points meta just started 2 months ago. It's stupid, right? Because what's the point of having points when you have tokens, right? So that's why we have tokens, so we can do that, so we can give them into rewards, get these into circulation, and create this economy, right? This new economy, right? And so you can see right here, referral bonuses will be given to users to refer. Other users send out. The bonus will increase the more users they refer up to a maximum. The bonus can apply to the following revenue streams. We've talked about that. Okay, there's a bonus. Sharing revenue. We've talked about that, right? Reward pulling. Rewards will be pulled for a given time period until it's added to the tranche. Total amount of each tranche will be divided into 2 pools: holder pool and bonus pool. Each Send account will be allocated a portion of the holder pool based on their participation within the economy. The bonus pool will be allocated based on the performance of the send tag of the send account during the qualification time of the tranche. So you can read through this here. I shared it in the chat, but let's look at his notes on the bottom. Spent more time thinking about how to define the new economy we're making. Most of this we may not end up doing in the long term. Ideally, we focus on getting revenue generated from 1 and 2 in the send accounts immediately after MVP. So again, revenue generated from 1 and 2, right? New send tag registrations. What did I say? We want people buying send tags. And not just because, for one, they believe in send, but because you believe in send and you want to participate in this. It's almost like it's a game, right? I want to be part of something, right? And then we get them to buy the 100,000 send. This is very good economics, right? This is a good flywheel for us, right? And then the paymaster fee share, right? So when people are sending back and forth, or they're doing swaps between USDC and send, or send and USDC, then we're taking that little 5 cent cut, right? So again, none of this is set in stone, but it's something that we're thinking about, and we're going to be pushing hard after this new distribution and app is out. We're going to be pushing hard on referrals and getting people to buy that 100,000 send, and that's how we're going to do it. All right, guys. So thanks for chiming in, and I'll catch you on the next video. Ciao.